Hello guys, welcome back to my live session this evening. Thank you so much for joining in. If this is your first time, please don't forget to subscribe, okay? I promise you guys that I'm going to bring the summary and also people's reaction about today's court, Nnamdi Kanu's court session today, and now I have brought it. I told you guys in the afternoon that from the look of things that everything seems to be going very well on the side of Nnamdi Kanu. Even the mask witnesses that the DSS brought, all of them, they even attributed to the success of this ongoing case. If you ask me how, I am going to tell you why. But let's look at this video first.
No instrument of terrorism found on Nnamdi Kanu, DSS witness tells court. PW1 further disclosed that he did not find any instrument of violence on the lady with Nnamdi Kanu and did not consider her company as facilitating terrorism. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining me in this video. Today is Friday, the second day of May 2025. I needed to wait to gather information about the court proceedings today. And right from time, a lot of people see me talking about the issue of Nnamdi Kanu. Some persons see me that, oh, this guy is just trying to call for release of Nnamdi Kanu for nothing. No, it is not for nothing. It is because I personally know right from time that Nnamdi Kanu did not commit any terror-related offense, talk less of treason. And today, it happens that everything we have been saying about Nnamdi Kanu is unfolding before our eyes. And I know at the end of this trial, people will now ask the federal government, why is it that you people charge this man with treason in the first place? Later, you people charge him with terrorism when he did not even commit any terror-related case. Now, you need to follow me in this video step by step. I have to explain for you everything that happens in the court today. And at the end of this video, you will agree with me that there is nothing, when I mean nothing, absolutely nothing that will make Nnamdi Kanu not to be released this month. However, it is still important to note that the reason why Nnamdi Kanu's trial have delayed up to this point is because I believe federal government understood that if Nnamdi Kanu is being tried, that he will be discharged. Despite the Court of Appeal, still Nigerian court have discharged him before. The federal government went to Supreme Court. From Supreme Court, they are now in the Federal High Court. So, without wasting much of our time, let us go into this news from Channels Television. Let us unfold everything that transpired in court today. Now, as I said before, Channels Television published that no instrument of terrorism found on Nnamdi Kanu, according to what the DSS witness told court today. Now, let's follow this article step by step, because among the whole people that reported about what happened in the court today, Channels Television breaks down the details. And that is what I want you to know. Now, number one, let's start from the first paragraph of the article. It states that the court has granted the request of the federal government for witnesses to testify behind the screens, of which you know that court approved, masked witnesses to testify. So we don't know the identity of these people, whether they are even from Britain. We don't know who is testifying. But what happened is what I'm going to explain to you. It reads that while the prosecution counsel is Adegboyega Awomondo, senior advocate of Nigeria, a former attorney general of the Federation, Kanu Agabi, led the defense team. That is the senior advocate that defended Nnamdi Kanu today. You need to stay with me in this video for you to understand that this Kanu Agabi, former attorney general of the Federation, is not just a senior advocate of Nigeria for nothing. I will show you how he reprimanded the masked witness that came to court today, and how the witness now even exonerated Kanu from all this terrorism case. What do I know, sir? I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a judge. But stay with me. Now, an operative of the Department of State Service, known simply as AAA, appeared as PW1. Okay? That is the DSS personnel that came now to testify against Kanu, people that arrested him 2015. When AAA was asked, this is cross-examination now. When AAA, that is the DSS personnel, when he was asked if he was the officer conducting the interview in the video played in court, he said that 5 officers were in the room and that he was one of them. He said his role in the investigation was limited to arresting the defendant, that is Nnamdi Kanu, obtaining his statement and escorting him to Abuja for onward investigation. On the item presented in court, that is all those radio equipment, okay, his wristwatch, his phone, that is what they found with him that made them to charge him terrorism. Stay with me. On the items presented in court, AAA was asked if there was anything which on the face of it was offensive, and he said no. Follow me. The DSS told court that they did not see anything offensive on Nnamdi Kanu. When asked if he had analyzed any of the items recovered from him, he said he analyzed only his phone. Stay with me. He said the phone was in evidence, though there was no analysis in evidence because they consider it immaterial to the case. In other words, there is nothing incriminating that is important related to this case in his phone. When asked, do you agree that in the 10 years since you confiscated these items, many of them have lost their use? AAA said yes. Now, AAA was asked, when I mean AAA, remember that is the DSS chief, and someone that is questioning him now is Mr. Kanu Agabi, senior advocate of Nigeria and former attorney general of the Federation. So let's continue. AAA was asked whether there is a record of the items he claimed the DSS returned to the defendant. He said yes, but noted that he didn't personally keep the records. All right. PW1 further disclosed that he did not find any instrument of violence on the lady with Nnamdi Kanu and did not consider her complaint as facilitating terrorism. Okay, so the lady they said they caught with Nnamdi Kanu now has been exonerated. Let's continue. When Agabi asked the DSS witness whether he found any instrument of terrorism on the defendant, that is on Nnamdi Kanu, he said no. Case closed. So we are going to continue with the article. Stay with me. Mr. Agabi, former Attorney General of the Federation, asked the DSS witness, do you see any instrument of terrorism on the defendant? He said no. So why did you charge him of terrorism when you didn't see any instrument of terror around him? All right, let's continue. Replying to a question about whether AAA contacted anyone whom the defendant mentioned as working with him, he said the defendant didn't mention any name. So Nnamdi Kanu did not mention any name that this person is working with me or this person is working with me. Stay with me, very interesting. Adding that he did not know whether other people were standing terrorism trial with Nnamdi Kanu in this case. Okay? Now, this is what he said. I put it to you that there is no other person in the whole of Nigeria who is standing terrorism trial for Biafra agitation except the defendant. Agabi told the PW1. You know what that means? If you claim Nnamdi Kanu have people who are terrorizing and the whole of Nigeria, there is nobody standing terrorism trial for being an IPOP. So does that make sense? No, it doesn't. That is to say your testimonies are false. Now let's continue. However, AAA said he knew some people stood trial with the defendant earlier, but don't know the state of those trial now. So the DSS person now witness is saying, oh, I think some persons were standing trial with Nnamdi Kanu, but we don't know how the trial went. He mentioned that he had read from social media and newspapers that the defendants had supporters like Simon Ekpa, who also carried on with the agitation. Social media. So you read from social media that Nnamdi Kanu have disciples who is doing what Nnamdi Kanu is doing. So social media is your evidence. Did Nnamdi Kanu tell you that he sent anybody to do anything crime? No. Now, let's continue. He also said he knew that the DSS was in the process of extraditing Simon Ekpa to Nigeria to face charges. When asked whether the defendant was charged with damaging anybody's property, that is Nnamdi Kanu, did he damage anybody's property? DSS answered, maybe not, personally and virtually. So you are not aware. First of all, you said you did not see Nnamdi Kanu with anything incriminating. You said Nnamdi Kanu did not damage anybody's property. This is interesting. Now, he said there were social media messages where defendant Nnamdi Kanu was inciting violence but did not know one person who carried out any act of violence because of the defendant incited him. Now, let me explain what that means. They claim that the broadcast Nnamdi Kanu did in London, that it incited people to carry out bad things, but they did not provide it. Who is that person that he incited to carry out that act? Did anybody come to tell you that Nnamdi Kanu sent him to do something bad? Absolutely no. Now let's continue. Nnamdi Kanu called Nigeria a zoo. This is where problem comes. Because it's not someone who carries someone to court that wins the case on the zoo. Can you imagine? Calling Nigeria a zoo is not a crime anywhere in the world. It's not a crime in Nigeria. But I want to let you know what transpired here. This is laughable. Now stay with me. PW1 further said though he could not remember whether the defendant, that is Nnamdi Kanu, said there is corruption, youth unemployment and lack of development in Nigeria. But remember that the defendant calling Nigeria a zoo. These people who have told us that they don't have case against Nnamdi Kanu since now. This is bullshit. Now let's continue. When asked whether he remembered that the defendant said IPOB was not an armed group and does not give armed training to its members, he said he remembered that the defendant saying IPOB does not bear arms. Now, you did not see him with arms, he did not destroy any property, and he said IPOB doesn't carry arms and is not an armed group. How did you see him with arms? And if you are talking, people will understand what you are talking. Now, let's continue. So interesting. Stay with me. This is what your data. Now, there have been killings in Kaduna, Zamfara, Benue, Plateau, and other parts of the north. Are those killings based on any agitation for separation? The Defense Counsel asked. This is where Agabi threw him up the line. You are claiming that Nnamdi Kanu is inciting violence at people, is inciting people to carry arms. You said you did not see him with arms. You said he has not destroyed any property. You said there is nobody following Nnamdi Kanu that is standing terrorism charge. But Agabi now asking, there is killing everywhere in Nigeria. Now, this killing that is everywhere in Nigeria, is it based on agitation for separation? Now, to the best of my knowledge, no, DSS answered. I think someone should give kudos to Agabi. You see, this is a very technical issues that we have been waiting for. Because these questions are the reason why we make video every day to tell Nigerians Nnamdi Kanu is not guilty about all these things. Nnamdi Kanu is not guilty. And all these things these people are doing is for nothing. All this bomb going on everywhere, is it Nnamdi Kanu that is doing it? If the witness identity could be unveiled, I will just go straight to where he came from, where he comes from, like the village. I will go and find out what is going on in his village to ask him that his parents that are not going to farm, is it Nnamdi Kanu that caused it? No going back. Now, let's continue. He further stated that Nigerians' highways are safe to a large extent. When the Defense Counsel asked, many Nigerians have been killed on their farms, in churches, in mosques, etc. Schools have been attacked and students kidnapped or killed. Trains have been attacked and passengers kidnapped and killed. These killings are not the product of any agitation for separation. Are they? That is the DSS witness said no. Agabi, you're tough. Oh. You're tough. Now let's continue. The case featuring terrorism and treasonable felony charge was originally instituted in 2015 following Kanu's arrest in Lagos. Major setbacks have held the case down for almost a decade, making it impossible for the prosecution to call witnesses and present exhibits until on Tuesday, that is the day they started this trial. The case started with 4 people initially charged as Kanu's co-defendants. However, in February 2018, the then trial judge Binta Nyako severed the trial, separating Kanu, who had fled Nigeria, from the other defendants. And of which I don't agree with Channels Television here, because Nnamdi Kanu did not flee, okay, according to the Supreme Court. The trial severance allowed the prosecution to continue proceedings against the 4 remaining co-defendants. The Nigerian government rearrested Kanu according to Chinese television, but I would say that the Nigerian government kidnapped Kanu in Kenya in June 2021. This is the end of the article. This is so interesting, man. So interesting. So if they tell you that the reason why they have been holding Nnamdi Kanu is because DSS will come to court to say Nnamdi Kanu called Nigeria a zoo. Is Nigeria not a zoo? A zoo is more coordinated than Nigeria. Nigeria is a jungle, it's a zoo. More mature zoo. How is that a crime? See, you can't go and study Sharia law and think you can come out and win anybody in the court. You can't go and have Sharia certificate and you think you can come and throw everybody offline. Buhari and his cohort who arrested Nnamdi Kanu, they thought that they could charge Nnamdi Kanu with all those Sharia court blasphemy. You said zoo, it's a blasphemy. Now the question is, why don't they charge Nnamdi Kanu with when he said, in fact, let's leave all those kids. Nnamdi Kanu will be released. And Justice James Omotosho said, the case will not pass next two proceedings. You know, they have set the date right from time. They set the date right from time, how everything is going to be. So he said he's not exceeding that date. So congratulations in advance to everyone who has been wishing Nnamdi Kanu well. Yes, I can beat my chest to tell you that at the end, no matter what happened, Nnamdi Kanu will be freed. Yes, he will be freed, he will be discharged, and he will continue what he is doing. This is matter of time. This is matter of patience. Just imagine 2015 to 2025. We are talking about 10 years. You have been trying one man that you caught with radio equipment. Shame. This is so shameful. Radio equipment. You caught someone with radio equipment. That is what you are bringing to court. You did not see this man with firearms. Fulani terrorists have been kidnapping everywhere. Their leader is free. Something dangerous is ahead of Nigeria. They leave the Fulani terrorists to be terrorizing. They leave the Boko Haram. They know their chief. They know people sponsoring them. Many people has been accused, like the former Zamfara governor, who is Tinubu's chief of defense staff. And Ademodu Sharif was accused of forming Boko Haram. He said it was Kashim Shettima, your vice president. Tinubu said if he fight them, they will kill him. Buhari promised to implement Sharia court and imported people into Nigeria. APC and CPC did that. So Tinubu is part of people who imported it. Okay, quote me anywhere. Senators have said this on the Chinese television, on Arise News. They have said it time without number. There is a man that said it day before yesterday again on Arise News again about the importation of terrorists into Nigeria. That is a treasonable offense. Tinubu, Buhari and others committed treason. But you can't say it because you are afraid. They thought they could break Nnamdi Kanu. Their mission is not to try to jail him, but they want to break him for him to forget about Biafra agitation. That was just their mission. Let us stop this man from agitating. But mission impossible. The mission was impossible. It's not everybody you can intimidate to the end. And I promise you at the end, the truth must prevail. Yeah, the truth must prevail. Anyway, if you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly subscribe, share this video, and
this is the highlight. If you're an Igbo, or you share this video. This is the highlight of today's court. According to the report, Nnamdi Kanu appear in Nigeria court being on 2nd of May 2025. According to the report, Nigeria government presented their 4 fake witness. I don't know if it is Malam or Aboki, because I don't know which name is AAA, Kyo, CCC. But according to the report, Nigeria government are still trying to change their strategy, because the strategy they use against Yako, the first court of Nigeria, wasn't working. So they're trying to convict Nnamdi Kanu. But the problem they failed to understand, this man is 100 years wiser than Nigeria government. Before Nigeria government be wise like this man, it will take them 500 billion years to come. This man was following every international community. It doesn't go against international law. Even Nigeria constitution, this man follow all the law. That's the reason it will be difficult for Nigeria government to convict him or find him guilty. So I don't know what you think about it. We're going to come to court being on 6th of May again. Share this video to all your bros.
We are monitoring developments in the nation's capital, where the Federal High Court has adjourned the trial of leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, to 6th, 7th, and 8th of May for continuation of hearing. At today's hearing, an officer of the DSS who arrested Nnamdi Kanu in 2015 told the court that when Mr. Kanu was arrested, no instrument of violence was found on him. Mr. AAA, the federal government's first witness under cross-examination, admitted that when Mr. Kanu was interviewed in 2015, his lawyer was absent. Mr. AAA agreed that those items now tendered as exhibits before the court are no longer of value. At the last hearing on Tuesday, the court granted the request for the witnesses to testify behind screen due to security reasons. Our senior reporter, Celestina Area, joins me on the news for more updates. Celestina, what more can you tell us about hearing in the case involving leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu?
Oh, well, about today, so far so good. The trial is going on very smoothly. And considering the evidences given by the first prosecution witness today, so far, nothing incriminating has been found against the indigenous, the leader of Apon, which is Nnamdi Kanu. So we don't know what is to come as the proceedings continues. And we don't know for sure how many witnesses the federal government is going to call. This is just the first witness, and he was cross-examined today by counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, Kanu Agabi, and wherein he made some findings that the way Nnamdi Kanu was interviewed without his lawyer present, that most of the items that were seized or collected from him in 2015 have no value anymore because it's over 10 years. But Justice James Omotosho told Kanu Agabi, which is counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, to come by way of application before the court seeking the release of some of those items, wristwatches, gold chains and necklaces, and see if Mr. Kanu can peradventure sell them and get something out of it. But so far so good, they have no importance. So it will not be of any good for either the prosecution or the defendant for those items to still remain in the custody of the court because now they are exhibits. So the court adjourned to 6th, 7th, and 8th for continuation of trial. So the conclusion of the cross-examination of the first witness to be done and the second prosecution witness to be called.
All right. You mentioned a while ago that it's unclear how many witnesses the prosecution would be calling. But does it appear that the others might also enjoy this liberty to testify behind screens?
Yes, definitely, because this is the position the court has taken, and it was because of the application filed by the federal government lawyer saying that to protect the identity and the life of the witnesses, they should testify behind the screen. The prosecution first witness, which the court named Mr. AA to protect his identity, testified behind the screen, and when he even walked up to the dock where he was shielded, he wore a mask. So, but basically, one thing is important, the defendant, which is Nnamdi Kanu, can actually see the witness, but the person, he or she, is shielded from the floor of the court, which are other lawyers and also litigants and journalists. But the defendant, Nnamdi Kanu, can see whoever the prosecution witness is. And this is the first witness. He is a DSS officer. He was among those that arrested Mr. Kanu in 2015, where he was interviewed. And also he said he was among those who escorted Mr. Kanu to their headquarters here in Abuja.
Celestina Area for us in Abuja. Thank you very much. We'll definitely be back to you when hearing in this case continues. Thank you again for the...
You have been on this case right from Justice Binta Nyako just for these 2 comments. So how do you feel today and how will you react?
That's exactly the reason why we have to say something in addition to what the SAN has said. This gentleman here, these lawyers standing with me here, are members of the old guard. We have been there from the get-go, so we know the nitty-gritty of this case. Well, what I can add is we are finally here. The government is finally having the trial that it desires. Our position still remains unchanged despite the ongoing trial. That our client is innocent of the charges, that the case is driven by political considerations, and in the end, the innocence of our client will be established. So we take it from here to 2nd May when we are going to subject the government witness who testified today. We are going to submit him to, or subject him to cross-examination, and then the truth shall begin to be revealed to everybody. Thank you very much. We appreciate you always being around to cover this very political ongoing for the past 10 years. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable?
We're very comfortable, but first of all, we thank God for today. We thank God that the matter has eventually kicked off without rancor. You know, you needed to have been in court to observe the proceedings. All the parties cooperated, and PW1 testified. PW1 is Mr. AAA, as he was designated. He investigated the matter 10 years ago. And today he came and gave his evidence and tendered documents. The matter is very simple. The state has a case against our client, and we are defending him. And for the first time, the matter has been opened, and we have heard what the evidence is. On Friday, we are coming back to cross-examine him. But in the main, the matter has commenced on a good note, very sound note, very civilized trial. And we hope by the grace of God we'll continue on this note and get to the end.
Okay, my name is Dr. Sylvester Onya, President of American Veterans of Igbo Descent, AVID.
Okay, so you have witnessed the first proceeding today.
Oh, it was wonderful.
Okay, so let's have your reaction to it. And what would you like to add?
I've seen a change in our system, a very dignified, honorable judge, conducting every proceeding with respect, very respectful, honorable man. I was so impressed. I couldn't believe I was in there, listening to how he conducted the hearing.
Okay, so
without, it's going to be a very fair hearing.
Okay, there were some claims by the PW1 about the radio station. You are from the diaspora. How do you react to that?
Well, it's quite unfortunate that we have not woken up to understand that you cannot just arrest people because they have equipments on them. When the interview was going on, the leader of IPOB was mentioning in that particular interview that he was just broadcasting, telling the world about what the British government is doing. And there's nothing wrong with him telling the world that we deserve our rights and we deserve what is in London over here, to be treated fairly, to have what they have. Whatever they enjoy, we need to enjoy it in this country. We don't have to be fighting each other.
So guys, it's already obvious that Nnamdi Kanu is coming back very soon. He is going to be out very soon. The extended cases, which is from now to 8. Yes, the next case is going to be on 6th. Then the following one on 7th. Then the last one, I believe it's going to be the last one, is on 8th. He may even be out before that 8th of this month. Yes, because from everything that has been going on in the court in the court since 29th of last month has yes, I keep saying it that this case is coming to an end. Imagine trying a case for over 10 years. It is not even a criminal case. It is not even someone that committed murder or someone that bite someone. Just someone that is just talking because he's talking to his people, and you've been trying his case for 10 years. 10 years now. Guys, it is just too much. I mean, the Igbo bias in Nigeria is just getting it's just getting more serious. But I believe that with this Nnamdi Kanu case, because all this while they were hoping that he would just come and surrender. Surrender for what one? I mean, the Boko Haram and all the Fulani herdsmen that has been terrorizing the whole state, are they not the ones to surrender? What is Nnamdi Kanu surrendering for? He has never buyed anybody. They did not see. They even said it themselves. Like that's even the one that they opened themselves up. They shot themselves on the leg by saying that they did not find any weapon on him. Like I trust this Nnamdi Kanu's legal team. Like they are very, very strong. They said it themselves. They did not find any weapon on the man. You see? So why are you now trying him based on terrorism? The main terrorists, we know the kind of weapon they perform with. Go to Plateau State, Benue State, they would describe the kind of gun, bomb, anything. Look at what is happening in Chicago. They've not pursued those ones. In fact, when they catch them, they will take them to a rehabilitation center and tell you that they have repented. With Nigeria's money, they will rehabilitate them and take them back to their family and tell you that they are repentant Boko Haram. That's the main terrorist too. Now the person that did not do anything, that's the person you will keep in DSS for over how many years now, dragging the whole case so that you see that the man will just succumb to your need and tell you, okay, you know what, from now henceforth, I'm not going to say anything concerning Biafra again. In fact, Biafra is dead to me. That is what they want the man to say. All this why that they have kept him in DSS, they want to break him. They want to break him to the point that, because this is someone that has a family, he has children. They want to make him, after when you be missing his family, just say, no, 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 I'm not going to be doing this again. Besides, I'm not the only Igbo. I'm not the only Biafra or Igbo. So why should I carry this whole case on my head? In fact, I'm not doing it again. Just let me go to my family. That is what they have been expecting Nnamdi Kanu to say all this while. But he did not say it. He said that this case, he will follow it to the end. They are going to be the ones that will tell him to go. We do not have anything against you. And that is what I see that is going to happen very, very soon. Just within how many days? Just within 5 days now, it will happen and everybody will see it. So, Igbos, anywhere you are, just rejoice because Nnamdi Kanu will be out soon. And from the look of things, if this man comes out, I don't think that he's keeping silent though. He's even still saying it in court that nothing is going to make him to stop talking about Biafra. So they should know that once he is being released, he is still going to start talking what he has been saying. As long as he's not breaking any rule, he's not breaking any law, he's in his right. So they should just free him. Guys, thank you so much for staying with me up to this moment. Please do one thing for me, okay? If you have not liked the live, please help me and like this video. Subscribe to our channel if you have not, okay? And also stay with me. Tomorrow morning I'll be going live again by 10 a.m. So please, I'll be waiting for you.